everybody, welcome back to Actual Investing. Today, as I record this, the market is hitting another all-time high. Now, when the market's hitting an all-time high, it's often tough to find cheap stocks to buy because everything is up. And if you're like me, I don't really like buying stocks when they're up. I like selling stocks when they're up and buying them when they're cheap, right? I mean, that's kind of the whole name of the game. So today, I'm going to do a video that was actually voted on by my community. I posted a poll yesterday, my first ever poll on YouTube, and I asked which of these videos would you be most interested in seeing next, and the overwhelming winner was a value stock I'm buying. So that's the video that I'm going to be doing today. Now, without further ado, that stock is Ulta Beauty, ticker ULTA. So Ulta is certainly not the most exciting stock in the world. It is a value stock, but with annual sales in fiscal 2024 of 11 billion and a market cap of just 19 billion, this thing is trading at less than 2 times sales and a PE ratio of just 15. When looking at profitability, we see that Ulta does have net profit margins of about 12%, which is certainly not high, but for a specialty retailer, that's actually quite respectable. If you're not familiar with Ulta, the company, essentially they're a specialty retailer that sells beauty products, primarily to women, but honestly also to men too. You can see that their largest department is skincare at 24%, and men have skin too. So Ulta really does cater to a wide range of customers. However, I would say that their primary demographic is women. Their other business segments are hair care, cosmetics, fragrance, and bath products, as well as an other, which I think encompasses anything from personal hygiene products to little trinkets here and there. So one thing I love about Ulta is they are a free cash flow generating machine. This is a graph from Macro Trends, and Macro Trends is just a free website that can give you lots of different metrics on stocks. I really like them. I'm not sponsored or anything, I just happen to like them. So this is Ulta's free cash flow over time, and you can see that it's really increased in recent years. They currently have over $1 billion a year in free cash flow. So that means every year, $1 billion is theirs to do with what they please. They can either make capital expenditures or pay this back to their shareholders. Now, when we look at their investor deck, we see that in 2023, most of their free cash flow, almost $1 billion, was spent on share repurchases. So for value stocks, the two ways that a value stock, and a value stock, by the way, is just a stock that has essentially tapped out of its growth and is now in profit mode and is maximizing their profits and giving them back to shareholders who have been patiently waiting for this day to come. So the two ways that value stocks can give money back to shareholders are through share repurchases and dividends. So Ulta does not pay a dividend, which might make some value investors not interested in the stock, but for me, I like to see these share repurchases, and it's almost like a dividend. So when we go back to Macro Trends, here is Ulta's shares outstanding over time. We can see how aggressively they've been buying back shares. From 65 million shares outstanding in 2014 to just 50 million shares outstanding today. So they have been aggressively buying back their shares. And what that does is drive the stock price up as well as make the slice of pie that you own as a shareholder larger. You own more of the company and the share price goes up. For me, I tend to reinvest my dividends anyway. I don't turn on the DRIP or dividend reinvestment plan. I just invest it in other dividend paying stocks. However, what I'm doing when I get my dividends is just putting them back in the market. So if a company's just buying back shares, essentially they're just saving me the step of reinvesting my dividends. They're just buying back their shares anyway. So to me, I don't really care whether a company is buying back shares or paying a dividend. If it's one or the other or both, I'm happy. So let's talk about their balance sheet, because Ulta does have a really nice balance sheet. So this is on their investor deck and it's a bit convoluted. So what I did is I found this nice Forbes article that breaks down their debt-free balance sheet. Now, when I first saw that, I was a bit confused because they do have debt. However, the debt that they have is operating lease liabilities. So they lease the buildings that they sell out of, and they've actually been able to do this without going into any interest-bearing debt. They've been able to do that with just their free cash flow, which is so impressive and shows great execution in a business. One other thing I like to see is that they have a very loyal customer base. So we see that they have a rewards program called Ultimate Rewards, and every year, the number of Ultimate Rewards members has been growing, except for 2020, but that was a weird year, so we'll give them a pass there. They're currently up to 43 million Ultimate Rewards members, and 95% of sales are actually made by Ultimate Rewards members. This is such a strong rewards program, and it's something that I like to see in consumer discretionary stocks. Think Starbucks and McDonald's, both of which have great rewards programs lately. The other nice thing about Ulta is that even though they're technically a consumer discretionary stock, I like to think of makeup and beauty products as a sort of staple, because even in tough economic times, women especially, and people just in general, are not going to stop buying beauty products. Women are not going to stop buying makeup when there's a recession. They're simply going to buy cheaper makeup. If you look at stocks like e.l.f., which is an inexpensive makeup brand, they've just been on a tear because when the economy's tough, women just switch to a lesser expensive product, but they're still going to buy these products. And Ulta is going to be one of the retailers that sells it. They are actually the leading beauty retailer in the US by market share, with over a third of the entire market share. They're even higher than Sephora, which is quite impressive. And finally, they are still growing. So even though they're a value stock, they are seeing this small single-digit growth that's just sort of outpacing inflation a little bit. We can see that net sales, like I said, hit $11 billion last year, and their earnings per share is also growing. Obviously, we see the little dip in 2020. Again, that was a weird year, but other than that, we look at this nice stair step of earnings per share, and that makes me really confident about the company's future. I believe that Ulta is going to continue to be able to increase their sales, increase their earnings, and increase their share buybacks, delivering strong returns to shareholders over the long term. If you don't believe me, let's see what Morningstar has to say. So Morningstar has a 3-star rating on Ulta, but their fair value is $410 per share, so they actually do believe that it's slightly undervalued. One bit of negative news which sent the stock down was that they did lower their earnings guidance. However, Morningstar believes this is not too severe. When I look back at the stock chart of Ulta, I can see that it's actually down 19% in the past 6 months and down 18% year to date. So this is what initially attracted me to Ulta. I see a company that I really like, that I really believe in, that is now trading at a discount for what I believe is an overreaction. It's the same thing that happened with Lululemon, and I'm up decently on Lululemon so far. Side note, my wife has been really happy at me for buying these stocks. She's a big fan of Lululemon and Ulta, so when she sees the trade alert notifications in her email, she gets very excited. Now, it's unfortunate because as I'm recording this, the stock is actually up quite a bit since I bought it. So what I've started to do now is in my members only platform on YouTube, I'm posting my trades as I make them. My last one was actually a day late for Ulta. So I bought Ulta at $381.11 a couple days ago. On my members only community, I post my reasoning for why I'm buying these stocks or why I'm selling these stocks. So I actually sold First Solar. I left some money on the table. I think it's probably up more than that. I think it hit 300 some. But I'm also giving my reason for selling it and my price target for getting back in. So this is just a freebie. I don't have any members yet. This is like a brand new thing that YouTube said I should do. So if you're interested in supporting the channel and you want to see my trades that I make in real time, feel free to join as a member. I think I made it like $2 a month or something. Don't feel obligated, just something that YouTube is telling me that I should start doing in order to increase my engagement. So anyway, so back to that alert. I bought Ulta at $381.11 and the stock is currently at $395.66. So it's up roughly 4% since I bought it, but I do still think the stock is a good buy. So anyway, for these reasons, I'm buying Ulta. I started dollar cost averaging, like I said, at about $381 a share. It's currently at $397 a share, so certainly still a good buy. I plan to hopefully add to my position in the future. I always like to dollar cost average when I start a new position, so I may be buying some Ulta with you if you're planning to buy, and if you're not planning to buy, that's totally fine. I hope this at least showed you a little bit about Ulta and the bull case for it. If you have another stock you'd like me to cover, please leave it in the comments below. I do still have some subscriber stocks to get to. Maybe I'll even put up polls and put multiple stocks on the poll, and so if you see a stock that you like, maybe vote on it and it'll help me push it up in the queue. And if you like this kind of content, please hit the like button and please subscribe to the channel if you're new and you like informed stock deep dives. That's the type of thing I do, and that's what I'm here for, and I hope you guys all have an awesome day.